Joanna's remarks. I wonder actually, why are some companies being successful and why some aren't? Like, why aren't there so many Facebooks and why aren't there so many maybe WhatsApps? There should be something else, probably. So does it have to do with the ecosystem, or does it have to do with business models maybe? Or so what do companies need to excel and adapt for innovative entrepreneurship?
Thank you, sir. First of all, it's all about ecosystems, it's all about intelligent business models, but with your permission, I'll just give my speech there.
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hoş geldiniz hepiniz. İngilizce konuşacağım bugün. Your Excellencies, distinguished members of the academia, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our annual Global Leadership Forum. We truly believe you will enjoy the conference and this panel and gain insight into the current unfolding trajectories across the globe. Really, studying, coming to school every day, and also over the weekend, joining conferences, my chapeau goes down to you, congratulations. These things make a real difference. As we all know, Turkey's greatest potential lies where? Within you, within its youth. Therefore, we must collaborate and work hand in hand to better educate students and our young. As I said, it's all about ecosystems and intelligent business models. In order to prepare our next generation to the rapidly changing 21st century, business models are being turned upside down, from traditional to digital, from traditional to autonomous, as the programmable economy is rising. We're all seeing this every day. These tectonic shifts affect every industry on earth. Think about it. Disruptors are being disrupted. That's how fast change is happening. Time is no longer linear. Size is no longer a guarantee for success. There is fierce competition among companies to become the hubs of your connected worlds. Everything is getting connected. All types of products are becoming smart across all industries, whether it's energy power plants, cars or autonomous self-driving cars, textile retail, smart homes, home appliances, agriculture, healthcare, and the list media, the list goes on and on and on and on. However, currently, there is a fragmented ecosystem, if you ask me. There are multiple smart protocols and many hubs, but they are with low interconnectivity, and that's the key word here. There is weak integration throughout the ecosystems. For this reason, focusing on user experiences and security is key to integrate all these different platforms. We're seeing a trend from ownership to access. Again, think about it. Uber owns 0 vehicles. Facebook creates 0 content. Alibaba, 0 inventory. Airbnb owns 0 real estate. Today, content is king, and distribution innovation and connectedness are shining through. We also see a migration to OTT, over-the-top applications. What do I mean by this? Netflix, Skype, Apple TV, Amazon. Through such companies, we're witnessing disruption of traditional billing models in telecommunications and satellite companies. WhatsApp, Skype, you don't really need Turkcell anymore. Well, you do with fiber optics and everything, but you understand where it's going towards. There are so many arenas where technology touches. What we now need are ecosystems, connectors, bridges to reinforce innovation. In order to stay ahead, and what makes companies different? it is imperative for organizations to establish innovative partnerships, learn, and teach simultaneously. Accordingly, I truly believe that the private sector, governments, NGOs, and the academia should work together, hand in hand, towards the establishment of stronger platforms and ecosystems towards the future. By establishing such interdependence, everyone's self-interest would also be in the interest of the collective. Think about the European Union. Wars for centuries, and then the European dream came about with trade, and now we see a peaceful era there. By establishing interdependence, everyone's self-interest would also be in the interest of the collective. I just wanted to emphasize this. Today, with all the novel technologies, Industry 4.0, Internet of Things, virtual reality, augmented reality, 3D printing, semantic internet and such, you know this. We live in an open world. I see 4 principles within this open world that I believe we should abide by. Number 1, collaboration. Number 2, transparency. Number 3, sharing. Number 4, empowerment. Let me give you a very short example regarding these principles. Collaboration. There was a man who bought a gold mine, believing there's gold there, got the license for the mine, and was digging for gold, couldn't find the gold. For years, couldn't find the gold. With his team, with experts, and he decided to do something revolutionary. He decided to post it online and create a contest. Whoever finds me the gold gets $500,000. And you know what happened? Someone from the internet who saw that contest found that gold, and that gold is worth $4 billion. That man is a happy camper. He was just about to quit. So through collaboration, everyone was happy. Transparency. Think about WikiLeaks. It's only the beginning. It's only the edge of the iceberg. It's going to become more and more and more transparent. Sharing. When I'm talking about sharing, I'm talking about IP sharing, intellectual property sharing. Think about Tesla. They're sharing the IPs regarding their technologies so the electric car industry would move towards their lithium battery technologies. Win-win for Tesla and others. Empowerment. We're getting smarter. Education, new media. We have access to knowledge. We're smart. We're more and more powerful. So, by adopting these principles, these 4 critical principles, I believe we will achieve true freedom. Through collaborations and these interdependencies, there is leadership, but no one leader. Leadership, but no one leader. And that, if you ask me, is where the true magic happens. As a result, we have established a unique pioneer initiative in BAU's Graduate School of Business. We brought together extraordinary representatives from the private sector to navigate and optimize the activities of the university's business school and MBA programs. We formed an executive structure with several committees, all working rigorously towards implementing best practices and innovative projects. In accord, as the board of BAU's Graduate School of Business, we pledge to become an example of magical collaboration. Collaboration between the sectors, as I said before. A new leader, Yeni Lider Derneği, is another association I'm active since 2013. We created a business model where we have the biggest private companies, NGOs, government, municipalities, ministries, and whatnot, and we're taking youngsters around 30 years of age, 3 from each organization, and we put them in a boiling pot all together. They have certificate programs, coaching, mentoring, conferences. Very unique. We're giving them very unique opportunities, certificate programs, social responsibility projects, and so forth. I believe that through such collaborative initiatives, we will better prepare for tomorrow's intellectual economy. The future, I believe, will create a singularity. We're moving on from the Homo sapiens species. We're going to integrate with technology. Not like Robocop or the Terminator. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun. I would like to close with Einstein's quote: "Imagination is more important than knowledge." Always remember this piece. Thank you. It's a real honor. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tal. It was very insightful and very futuristic speech. Thank you very much. You've touched based on very, very interesting topics. As you said, it's all about business models and it's all about the ecosystem. You were mentioning that disruptors are being disrupted. It is happening so fast. Products are becoming smarter. It is mostly focusing on user experiences and security. And you also touched base on some interesting business models like the Airbnb's model, where Airbnb is owning no real estate versus a lot of the hotel companies or others, but they are creating unbelievable revenues out of this business model. Very smart. Partnerships and ecosystems between governments, companies, and academia is very, very important. And also the core principles of innovation. You touched based on collaboration, transparency, sharing IPs, and empowerment. These were all very, very interesting thoughts. And you said future will bring singularity. This I found very interesting. But at this point, I'd like to turn to Ms. Melek Hanım. It was interesting. Could you please elaborate on what you mean by that, maybe with some examples?
Of course. I also want to talk about renewable energy.
Please do. I think you're also...
it's my profession.
Exactly.
But first I'll answer your
Yes,
question.
and then maybe have some comments on renewable energy.
Of course, with pleasure. I think that the youngsters understand this concept very well, where we all work together and we're all leaders all together. Of course, you need a certain hierarchy and whatnot. But when you think about true collaboration, I'm not talking about collaboration within a team, within an organization. I'm talking about intercontinental, intergovernmental, interorganizational collaboration. And to do this, you need many leaders to work jointly without having any ego issues. And I sincerely believe that through these ecosystems, we'll be able to create true leadership. I think that if there's only one leader or one very strong leader, the system or the whole isn't as strong. So that's my view about regarding this issue. And I also believe that when you talk about leadership, that each and every one of you is a leader at the end of the day. Now, you touched upon renewable energy, and I have to say a couple of things about this issue. As it's my passion, really. This is my weak spot, my soft spot, and it's my profession, and it's what I focus on every day. I'm the business development manager of our energy group in Alarco Holding, and we just completed 55 megawatts of solar renewable energy power plant in the Konya region. And in total today in Turkey we have about almost 1,000 megawatts, 1 giga, so about so we're getting a good portion.
Not from solar, right?
From solar.
1,000 megawatts.
Almost 950 or so.
Amazing.
And actually Alarco did the first pilot solar power plant in Turkey in 2009. So we're continuously, rigorously pushing and trying to collaborate with Ankara to open up the regulatory framework and make it a happy environment for foreign direct investment as well. And of course there's geothermal and wind, and of course there's also natural gas and coal and whatnot. And this is a holistic system which works together, and slowly we need to improve these technologies. And once we start once we develop the technologies of energy storage and make it cheaper and more efficient, then we'll solve the real problem and we'll be able to switch to renewables completely. Now, Melek Hanım talked about millennials, and I would want to connect these topics as well. I believe that you all and we should all follow our passions, whatever they may be. And once millennials follow their passions, because what happens? You fall into a trap, right? You study well, you finish university, you start working somewhere, but you don't really believe in the mission. You don't really internalize what's going on. You just comply for the sake of salary or for the sake of being there because someone told you to be there. Once millennials are passionate about their jobs, they'll achieve greatness. And corporate culture here is key. In order to get millennials passionate, in order to excite us, we need stronger corporate culture mechanisms. We need to create a culture which doesn't only require things from you, but a culture that gives things back, that educates you, that helps you grow, that helps you fulfill your potential, whatever it is, in whatever arena it may be. And Melekanem also said something very important. How do we prepare students for jobs that don't yet exist? This is a very difficult question, right? I mean, think about it. Well, the basis of literally everything is critical thinking. We just need to open your imaginative windows and give you the right foundational resources so you can go towards the sky, which isn't the limit, it's even further. So I found my passion in renewable energy, as I believe it's the basis of literally everything. But again, it's just a drop in the ocean. That is why working together towards these jobs, all leaders together, then will actually achieve true change and through hope to the future. Thank you.
Thank you. That's very true. We're trying to prepare the students for jobs that won't exist in 5 to 10 years from now. You want to say something?
Yes, I would like to add something, because you mentioned, we both, I think we are really focused and we are excited of renewable energy. You mentioned about the storage, renewable energy. Already in California, there are a group of people who work on the first battery, which help us, to storage and renewable energy. But it is not such easy to switch to renewable fully. I also believe it, but I think the one important thing that lobbying is very strong, lobby of traditional fuels. So as long, you mentioned a few times about the collaboration, it's absolutely great idea, but as long as lobby of traditional fuels will be strong and will have a political support, there will be no possibility to take a next step. That's all. Thank you.
Very true.
Thank you. Joanna.
What they need to do, they know they need to do something. And especially cash-rich companies such as Google, such as Apple, they are continuously acquiring new technologies and new companies. So we do see financial capital flow going towards this area. But as Barış said, in Turkey there is a problem. There is a vicious cycle. You have a couple of investors, a couple of very small venture capital funds, and they try to get the ball rolling, they try to get the ecosystem moving forward. But there are only a few. So what happens? They invest, the company grows, and then it wants to go to a round A, round B, round C, but they can't find new investors. So they have to go back to the first investor. And the first investor is like, I want to see returns. And the company is growing healthily. So there is a need for new Silicon Valleys around the world. Yes. And in Tel Aviv, it's quite successful, but there is a reason for that. In Israel, the military, the private sector, the government, they're all helping the startup nation. They're aware that this is their competitive edge. And they have created strong reforms towards this. You need public policy to support this. This doesn't happen by itself. Plus, there's a cultural issue, a cultural divide, a cultural difference, which is why we need to adjust the Silicon Valley of the West to different cultures across the globe, in Dubai, in Istanbul, in Hong Kong. A Japanese person wouldn't act the same as a person in California. So we have to be sensitive and susceptible towards these quite important nuances. But I also want to say one more thing about money. Always think for yourselves, because I know money is important, but it's not everything, and passion is much more important, as I said previously, which is why always ask yourself, what if money was no object? What if money was no object? What would you do? Because believe me, whatever you want to do, there are other people who are also interested in it. And if you do it well, and if you're passionate about it, then eventually you will make money. It's a byproduct, but it shouldn't be the goal. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. A few words on this, especially on the angel investing and the startup nation. Unfortunately, once this startup and venture capital kicks in, and as you said, you know, round B, round C, and all that starts coming up, in Turkey there is an issue. You need to grow that company to a point where the company at least needs around $10 million. And at the moment, this is the environment in Turkey where the private equity investors kick in at that $10 million. So between, let's say, $1 and $2 million to $10 million levels, there is a shortage of capital. There's a shortage of funding in Turkey where bank finances is usually not enough. And it's such a critical area where friends and families' monies won't be enough. So what happens is these companies, startups, who reach to a certain level ends up being acquired by very big companies, and the owners become general. Do you have things to add to it?
My first advice is always challenge traditional models and don't accept everything as it just comes to you. Always try to find a way to optimize things and think outside of the box. You'll connect the dots later on, not initially. Also, I think that the quote here would also work well. A quote by Mevlana, or in English Rumi. It's your road, and your road alone. Others can walk it with you, but no one can walk it for you. So of course, you can listen to a lot of advice, but at the end of the day, you're going to walk your own road. Regarding entrepreneurship, and again, intelligent business models, I truly believe that before becoming an entrepreneur, gaining some insight into how the world works, gaining discipline, learning from esteemed mentors like Melekhan'ın, I think it's quite worthwhile. You know, we're a bit, I think that the younger generation is a bit impatient, right? We immediately want to get somewhere, we immediately think that we deserve something, we want to get the manager post, we don't want to wait, but sometimes we need to grind a bit. I mean, sometimes hard work means much more. So I think that gaining some sort of experience is critical, but gaining the right experience is even more important. We in Alarm sometimes decide to take people that have no work experience because we believe that the work experience that some companies provide actually kind of ruin the lovely material that is around. So I think that you should work in places which are innovative, in places which adopt intelligent business models. And very, very briefly, I would like to touch upon this concept, intelligent business models. What do we mean by this? Well, look at Uber. Uber always gets information from you and knows where you are, so it can give you advertisements regarding the location you're at. So it's using its data to give a better value proposition for its customers and users. And it's getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And it's a positive feedback loop. So you need to find these positive feedback loops and strengthen them further. Look at Twitter. Twitter doesn't have an intelligent business model, which is why I wouldn't buy its stock. Netflix does. So look at those kind of companies which are innovative, companies which can show you the road, which can teach you discipline and how to create because it's not just about coming up with an idea. A lot of people have many ideas. It's all about how you actually implement the idea, how you execute the business plan. And for that, mentorship, coaching, and the valuable insight of experienced people from the workforce are critical. So patience is key, but stay true to yourself and remember that it's your road and yours alone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Patience, I was going to touch base on that as well. I'm glad you touched